What's up, guys? Luke here from Luke's Points and Miles. Do me a favor if you can hear me. Go ahead and put a Lima Charlie or a loud and clear in the comments below. Get this all set up so it looks pretty good. I think I have my live thing kind of set up fairly good. I think I'm satisfied with the picture and I like this microphone. So really enjoying doing the lives. I have to admit, guys, I'm trying to make sure I don't wobble this table here. I have to admit, guys, this has been a super stressful week for me. We got some somewhat personal issues going on, so this is an awesome kind of a distraction to all that. So I appreciate you guys that were here when it first started. John, number one, thank you, sir. Appreciate you guys coming to the live. Call Me Lonnie is here. Call Me Lonnie is. I don't know if they have any kind of requirements for Rookie of the Year, but Call Me Lonnie might have came in like right at the end of 2023 and stole Rookie of the Year for the credit card YouTube space. What's up, Lonnie? We got Travel Guy, Mikey B. I like Mikey B. I like a cool name. Matt Welter, the Colombian Panamanian traveler. Terry Marburger. I like that name too. Paul Kasky, Kyle Welch, and Mojo. Mojo will always have one of the coolest names. Brady Smith says, what's up? What's happening, Uncle Luke? Your uncle is in the house, and we got quite a bit to talk about today. I don't know if you guys have seen the thumbnail, but Amex dropped I guess it's not a bomb. We should be used to this from Amex right now. And I really do expect a lot of overreactions from a lot of the YouTubers and a lot of the people in the game. We normally do overreact to things like this, and we'll get into those cards. If you haven't seen the news, the American Express Delta cards got a refresh, and it is exactly what we all kind of expected from American Express. And I think there's some good and bad with that. And I think, like I said, the overreactions are going to be valid for a lot of people. I'm canceling tomorrow. But I think some of those cards, in a certain light, got a lot better. If you remember, those cards didn't have, besides the companion pass, they didn't have a lot of perks to earn. Now they have the coupons. So if you don't like the American Express coupon book strategy, you won't like the changes most likely. But let's keep it real. Most of us don't have Delta credit cards anyway. All right. John says, sorry, man. John, you guys know life is stressful. Fortunately, this isn't all my stress. You know, I have a friend who is going through something, and I don't have a way to help them. So hopefully this is over in a week or two, and we can move on. Bobby Yakuz is in the house. Keith S. always. Mountain Bob. Mountain Bob is the big time Discord guy. Always has the good feedback and the good answers. Good evening, Mountain Bob. I also there was a couple things I really wanted to talk about. Okay, so MR said the Delta Reserve is big league for him this year. Yeah, okay. And that's I think before we even get into the Delta cards, this is what I think overall about the Delta cards. Two things. And I think you'll agree with me. One, American Express is not interested in you having any underwear drawer cards or sock drawer cards. They're not interested in giving you a $600 card that you use for a free night, and that's it. They are in the game for you to use your cards. Delta reported all those billions they earned in swiping fees last year. So Delta is not interested in you having those sock drawer cards. So if you are working, John just hit us up with a $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. That does cheer me up a bit. Like I said, life happens, but I do think that and thank you, John, appreciate it. If you are working Delta cards and you are a Delta loyalist, I think these are good refreshes for you. And we'll get into that a little more later. So like I said, I think the days of having sock drawer cards are over with American Express. And if you're okay with that, I don't think these changes are too bad. They want your swipe fees. Let's get into I want to kind of slow everything down. I did notice that on my lives, sometimes I do go a mile a minute, and it's a little bit fast for my taste. So let's get into a couple of the questions that I was asked in the community post. Because I think if I remember, I don't rehearse these answers. I check them out to make sure they're valid questions, and then I kind of forget about them. So Stan the Credit Frog. Everybody knows Stan the Credit Frog. He's a big league YouTuber, and he's also a doctor, so super smart dude. Stan asked, after you make your maximum value redemption, how do you book epic tours for your epic trips? Now, this comes back to Lonnie. I know Lonnie is, it wasn't Lonnie. No, it wasn't Lonnie. Chad uses uh, the Chase portal for tours. I like to use either Rakuten or the American Airlines shopping portal to book tours through Viator. Normally, I use the Chase Inc. Preferred 3 times on travel and whatever the shopping portal is offering. So sometimes that's 10 miles a dollar. Sometimes it's 10 MR points a dollar if you're using Rakuten. What's up, Chad? We were just talking about you using the Chase travel portal for your tours with Viator, however you say it, and all that good stuff. It's a question on the community page. Matt Welter says he pays out of pocket. Yeah, and I it seems like Chad can use Chase UR points for that. I like to pay cash because I like to earn those extra airline miles towards American Airlines status, which I'll be talking about in an upcoming video. Because just to let the cat out of the bag, I was able to go requalify for gold and qualify for platinum status without any paid flights. So, so yeah, I use shopping portals to book them. Okay, Lonnie, I knew we had something together, Lonnie. Um, uh, but let me back up because the reason why I like booking those paid tours is when I went to Ireland, I tried to do everything myself. I tried to go to the Castle Blarney by myself. I had to do everything. And then towards the end of the trip, I said, you know what? I'm just booking this. Booking it, a lot of times they'll come get you. A lot of times it's in an air-conditioned vehicle with some water, some snacks. But the really cool part is if you get lucky, you get a tour guide with tons of local knowledge. And I use Ireland as an example because Ireland has this, like a lot of countries, they have this huge hidden history. The way they were treated by the English and really everyone is not taught to most of us Americans. Even the Americans, the plastic patties who think they're Irish, they don't know these things. Here's a for instance. We had a tour guide take us um, to the cliffs of Moher, but on the way there are all these rock fences. The landscape in Ireland is super rocky, so instead of building fences with wood, they pick up the rocks and build fences with rocks. It's beautiful to look at, but it has a uh, really weird historical context to it. The English occupied Ireland for hundreds of years, and I don't want to get too far into this, but at some point they hired Irishmen to build walls straight up the mountain because they were starving. They had to do something. So there are fences all the way up these mountains for no reason. They're not built for any reason other than to put these guys to work while they were starving. So stuff like that. Just love the paid tours if you get a great tour guide. And I also got a great tour guide in Frankfurt, Germany. So it hits a lot. It misses sometimes. Yeah, John says he agrees. The changes affect the Delta loyalists, eh, and like he says, a lot of the Delta loyalists aren't really deep into the game. I know we do have some guys here that live in Atlanta or Detroit or right around hubs, and they are somewhat Delta loyalists. But here's the thing. Here's the great thing about airline cards and Delta in general. You really don't need a Delta card to take advantage of Delta as a program in the credit card game. Most people could make a lot of arguments that your charge card, your platinum and your gold are going to generate more Delta points than anything. My favorite way, um, really used to be when I had the business platinum and I had Delta as my preferred airline. I would book my Delta flights using MR points and get that 35% bonus and still earn Sky Miles. But, I digress. Let me check one more question from the uh, community post. Now, this might be a long one. Brady Smith, I think he's here. He says, hey, Uncle Luke, thanks for making some of the most entertaining credit card content out there. Just booked a Hilton in Rome and got over 1.25 cents per point. Tired of people saying there's only worth a half a cent. Brady, you just killed it. My question for you is, can we get some more maximum value redemptions on the hotel side so we can knock Aunt Connie's socks off? Yes, sir, we can. I will start looking really soon. My favorite maximum value redemption on the hotel side is a sweet spot. And I kind of don't want to tell anyone, but I kind of do. I'm taking advantage of it in April for spring break. There is a Kimpton property called the Seafire Resort on the 7 Mile Beach in Grand Cayman. This is like a $1,200 to $1,500 a night resort. It's only 70,000 IHG points. And a lot of times you're going to get that fourth night free. So when I looked at it, I did a video on it. It's in my maximum value redemptions, but it was like thousands of dollars worth of stays for 210,000 IHG points, which only cost $1,000. There's one. If you use it, let me know, because I won't be there until April, but I'm really excited about going there. All right, let me check the comments. We got a lot of comments. We have 87 people in here so far. Guys, hit that like button for yourselves. It's a lot of people at the beginning of this live. I appreciate every single one of you. Jason Kane says he's been able to book Viator's same tours and inventory from Chase UR. Yeah, and I kind of feel like it's just a different way of paying for it. I want to. It's an easy way for me to earn American Airline miles and American Airline loyalty points to book those through a shopping portal. But if I had the Chase Sapphire Reserve, it's absolutely a good option there for 1.5 cents or 1.5 cents per UR point. Jacobs Points and Profit is in the house. Thanks for showing up, sir. John says the points and miles churners shouldn't care about these Delta changes. Amex is absolutely thinning the herd of people. Here's what I think about Amex, and tell me what you guys think of this opinion. I think Amex has always valued your spend more than anything else. They'll give you however many points you want just to get their credit cards. They want you to spend on them. Amex's goal is to take care of their high spenders and make sure they're in a system where they're using 2 to 3 cards exclusively. They have to use them for the credits. They have to use them for that. Or if they don't use them for the credits, Amex is probably not out anything because they're probably not actually paying for those credits anyway. And I think if you want to have a small amount of cards and you want to work those cards, American Express is always going to be great for you. I've complained a lot in the past about having to order Grubhub or Uber Eats, so I'm probably not long for Team Amex. Keith S. references Ireland, the Troubles seem to be like one of the British understatements. Yeah, the Ireland English history is pretty remarkable if you can ever get into it with someone that's over there. It's probably one of the worst kept secrets of marginalization, occupation. It's just a people being beat down. Also inspirational in that they seem to have come out of that pretty well. A lot of Irishmen all over the world doing really good right now. And Ireland itself doing pretty well. David Ruiz, hopefully I didn't miss anything. Mind-blowing in the first 11 minutes. No, we haven't even got into Amex just yet, the actual specifics of the Delta changes. Keith S. says Aunt Connie likes Hyatt redemptions. Her socks don't. I've done, see, here's my peeve with Hyatt redemptions. They're all pretty good. I don't believe I've ever really crushed it with Hyatt, but I've always done really well. And the thing about with Hyatt, and I have to admit, guys, You heard it here first. I stayed at more Hyatts last year than any other hotel chain, and that's probably going to progress into Hyatt being my primary place to stay soon, maybe this year. And it's because I can get a suite. And when you travel with Carlos, it is so awesome if he has his own room or me and mom have our own room. I'm really addicted to the big hotel rooms. Michael Pythium, my man. Hey, Luke, question. Built has the transfer bonus to Aeroplan currently for 75%. And although I don't have any current redemptions in mind, I feel like I'd be missing out if I didn't transfer any over. All right. Controversial take. Speculative transfers. This is my opinion. If you are ever going to fly overseas, or you regularly fly overseas, but you don't have anything planned, personally, I'm doing speculative transfers to Aeroplan, especially the 75% stuff. 100%, I'm not going to look back. I won't ever regret it. I don't care. Aeroplan is good enough for me to speculatively transfer. Now, I've also done speculative transfers to British Airways and Virgin Atlantic, and it has not quite worked out for me all that well. Do I regret it? Maybe, but it's okay. They'll get used. They just haven't been getting used lately. I do use all my British Airways Avios for American Airlines flights, though. So that's just a slow, I think I had 150,000 Avios, and a lot of my American Airlines flights used to be 9,000 Avios. I think now they're 11,000. So it's going to take me a long time to use all those. But Michael, transfer them jokers. They're built points anyway. You're going to accrue them every month if you have the built card. Matt Welter says Aeroplan's the best. Aeroplan's bigly. Lynn's Rideshare says any changes to Amex Gold. Not the regular gold card that we know of just yet. David Ruiz says Aeroplan is so versatile, you can extend their life with just a small transfer. And he uses Aeroplan every year. Yeah, you can just. I know a guy who does Avianca, and the downfall of Avianca is they expire in a year or 18 months. Either way, it's a really quick expiration. But what he does is he transfers at least 10,000 over every time there's a bonus. So he's constantly refreshing that. He's refreshing that timeline. Okay, I just got a text. We need 2 questions for Carlos tonight. He is all showered up and ready for nightly routine, and he's ready to come up here and answer 2 of your questions. We call this questions for Carlos, and usually we have a couple good ones. And what it is, it's to inspire him to not only speak kind of publicly, which is difficult for a lot of people, but he wants to start his own YouTube channel one day. So this is me being dad, kind of supporting that and encouraging it. Carlos. Oh, you're knocking stuff over. Okay. Get in here, buddy. We have questions for Carlos. He's rocking the Jack Skellingtons. Okay. Philmo78 says, Carlos, Chiefs or 49ers?
49ers.
Woo, 49ers. Carlos, who should the Bengals draft in the first? I don't think he has the college football. He doesn't follow college football. He's all pro. So I'll answer that for him. The best offensive lineman, or controversial take. Trade Jamar Chase for 2 first-rounders. Franchise tag Higgins. Pick up Marvin Harrison Jr. and an offensive lineman.
No, don't trade Jamar Chase.
Don't trade Jamar Chase? Okay. All right. Can we get one more question for Carlos, and then he can go ahead and finish his nightly routine? All right. Carlos, what is your best trip so far? You can name 2 if you can't decide. Speak up.
Mexico. And Hawaii.
Mexico and Hawaii. Imagine that. Thank you, sir. We'll see you next time. Say hi. Say bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Mexico and Hawaii. Who doesn't like Mexico and Hawaii?
Not me.
All right. Nick didn't realize how good the Chase travel portal is for experiences until he heard Chad talk. Well, that's kind of what we do, man. Chad?
Do you want me to close the door?
Yes, please. Chad is one of those guys that not only talks the talk, but he walks the walk and he shares it. So he provides value. Chad does it, man. Chad kills it. And he's a good dude. Mikey B mentions that going to see more videos about credit card fatigue in the near future with these Amex changes. I think with the credit card fatigue, I think you just need to change your strategy. I think the days of having 30 cards with annual fees and trying to get value on every single one of them might not be the way to go. And I think the credit card issuers are making efforts to make sure that goes away. John says 111 people are watching. Smash the like. We don't smash the like button here. We slap it. We slap the like button. All right. Oh, me, regular or sumo deadlift? That's funny. Both. When I'm just training and I'm just doing a like a deadlift day and doing a lower body leg day, I like to do sumo deadlifts because it doesn't make my back sore, and I think it hits different as far as building muscle. But I'm pretty sure I can conventional deadlift more. It's also easier for me to grip in a sumo. Like I have like bicep tendon issues, so my grip is kind of wonky, and I don't use any kind of straps or anything. Stan asked, "Do you like Delta, Carlos?" Carlos does like Delta, but Carlos doesn't care. He turns his iPad on and he says, "Let me know when we get there." And he is like a really good traveler, so I think Delta has the best hard product. I think that's tough to argue when we're talking about domestic economy. But the last time I flew Delta was on the way back from Vegas for the creators meetup, and I don't think I flew it more than just that one time in the last year. Velmar's in the house. Neil, yes, Neil, we are going to talk about the Delta card changes. Got Anthony Venture in the house. Anthony just did a video on the Delta changes. So if you want the full specs and details, check his video out. I don't think I'm going to get completely into the full specs and details, but I am going to go over this reserve card. And I think right now is probably a good time to do it. And let me see here. I really appreciate Scott for sending me these details over because I don't have a Delta card anymore. So I don't know if I would have known this until David Ruiz said he had 2 rejections in one day. Capital One Saver One and Chase Freedom Unlimited. When would I here's the weird part about Capital One. Everybody I hear from Capital One, they're getting these cards on the second and third application. I will tell you my personal experience, Capital One, Saver One, I got declined. I applied a month later and got approved. So I'm also somebody who doesn't care about inquiries. So I would wait 30 days and apply again, not for the Chase Freedom Unlimited. I would wait till you're under 524, but I can understand giving it a shot, but I wouldn't apply for it again. Nick wants to know if I ever thought about getting a home gym. I had one for a long time, and I like going to gyms. I like the process of getting up, putting my stuff on, grabbing the bag, going to the gym. I don't like working out at home. Plus, I have too many distractions here. That's David Ruiz's first 2 rejections ever. But you're right, Nick. You can hit a sub getting a home gym. I just I don't like it. I don't like working out at home. I don't like it. I like the process. I work out alone, so I like the process of leaving my house, going to a gym, um, and coming. No. Matt Clausen says, no, sir, I don't like it. So let's talk about this Amex Delta Reserve. Let's talk about the changes. You guys remember it was a $550 card. And the big deal from this one was it gave you some Sky Club access before it gave you unlimited Sky Club access. And it gave you a companion pass. The companion pass was up to first class in the contiguous United States, the 48 contiguous states. You couldn't go to Alaska. You couldn't go to Hawaii. That was but the people who had it generally got their money back with that companion flight. And from what I understand, I never used it. Actually, I still have it in my account. From what I understand, they had limitations and it was difficult to use. I can't really give you my opinion on that because I haven't tried to do it yet. But now there are some changes. Those were the two highlights. It didn't earn well. It earned terrible, but it did put you on the upgrade list, even if you didn't have status. Now, I'm not going to get into Delta status because it's all spend base on Delta now. So I'm not going to get into it because I don't think most of us normal people can get Delta status without really spending on Delta cards. And if you're going to do that, you're probably some type of consultant or you travel for work or whatever. So the reserve, you're going to get a complimentary one-time $100 flight credit. I think this is just to ease the pain of the annual fee going up. The annual fee is going up from $550 to $650. Easy to use if you're paying for flights. And let's keep it real, is $650 much different than $550? Now, they do add some benefits here. They give you a deposit of $1,000 in MQDs. And like I said, I don't want to get too far into Delta's status program because that's a completely other video and another topic. But it does help you towards the next level of status. The companion ticket has changed. And the people who use this companion ticket and the people that are loyal to Delta are probably doing backflips over this. This changes the 48 contiguous United States. And now it includes first class, Comfort Plus, and main cabin, obviously. But it also adds Hawaii, Alaska, Mexico, the Caribbean, and Central America. So listen, let's keep it real. If you're a Delta person, if you're Delta enough to have the reserve, you're going to probably get a ton of value out of that first class ticket on the companion pass. It's not going to be $650. It's going to be closer to $800 or $900 because you're going to fly to the Caribbean or you're going to fly to Hawaii. You're going to use it. And if you fly Delta, this is probably a really good thing. That by itself is likely worth the annual fee, just that. But we're going to include some coupons, some more incentives to spend for status. And like I said, if you are into that ecosystem, you already know if that's beneficial to you or not. It won't be beneficial to somebody who doesn't fly or spend tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars with Delta. The Delta Reserve is going to include $120 yearly with ride share credits. It's $10 a month, and it's on Uber, Lyft, and things like that. Good and bad about that. The good thing is it gives you a credit. If you can use it, you can use it. The bad thing is you can't do the Uber Eats anymore. It has to be ride shares. Doesn't have to be Uber, but as someone who this would drive me crazy because I would always try to get $120 out of it, and I never would. It gives you a $240 Resi credit, $20 a month. I had never looked at Resi. I did look at their website, and I live in a small town outside of Columbus. In Columbus, there are some restaurants I might eat at, but there were no restaurants there that I ever have eaten, or I would just generally go there. I would have to go out of my way to use these credits. But then again, that's $360 there on credits that this card didn't have before. I think this card got better. I think it got more specific to Delta mega loyalists, but it got better. A $200 Delta Stays credit. Now, this is $200 when you book a hotel or vacation through Delta. I don't know anybody that's doing this currently, but if you are a Delta loyalist and you've amassed just an ungodly amount of Sky Miles, you may have been doing that by booking your hotels through Delta as well. Again, this is for the frequent traveler that really lives in a hub and really has loyalty to Delta. You also get complimentary Hertz President's Circle status. If you rent cars, you have probably heard people talk about this. It's a great way to rent a car. You're going to get upgraded. You skip the line, all that good stuff. I don't rent cars very often, but I guess I do have this President's Circle status. So, they're good benefits. And it really seems to me, and I know they changed the, I don't have, let me see. I know they changed the Sky Club visits. They gave you some more Sky Club visits, I think. And that can't be bad. But remember, it used to be unlimited Sky Club visits. I'll look see if I can find on the website here. Complimentary Delta Sky Club. Okay, they keep giving me that's going to change. 4 Delta Sky Club visits each year. And effective. Oh, and then we go to, okay, this is weird. If somebody knows how many Sky Club visits you get, let me know in the comment section, because this says you receive 4 Delta Sky Club one-time guest passes. So I guess you could use that for other people. You can effective February 1st, 2025, you'll get 15 visits per year. So, and I guess I also forgot to mention that if you have a Delta card, you're going to get 15% off your points bookings. So here's the thing. These cards, they took the form of the Hilton Honors cards in that you have to go through each credit and each change to make sure it works for you. But most likely, just like the Hilton cards, if you're staying at Hilton's and you travel a lot, they're always going to make sense. If you fly Delta a lot, then these cards are probably going to make sense. And when we go down the list, the platinum is, the changes are very similar in relation. But the platinum you can actually earn, 3 times on Delta, 3 times on hotels, 2 times on dining and groceries. So you can earn a little bit. The Delta card went up from $250 to $350. It got the status boost where you can help you qualify for status. It gave you a $150 stays credit with Delta vacations or Delta rentals. Still has the $120 ride share credit. So it gave you $270 in credits, and it raised the annual fee $100. So if the card made sense before, it probably makes sense now, but they're going to make you work for it. The gold, which was always the Goldilocks, the one that it was pretty easy to get value from, it went from $95 to $150. It's still $0 for the first year. This one you can earn a little bit. You can earn ×2 on things. This one has given you a $200 Delta credit after you spend $10,000. As far as I know, folks that had this card were not spending $10,000 on it. But it is interesting when you give me $200 for just $10,000 spend, because if you really do that math, if I'm getting 2 times on groceries and dining, if you're giving me $200 on top of that, now I'm kind of getting 4 times. So it might make sense if you follow me. $100 Delta stays credit for the hotels or vacations. So I think that one makes sense if you can use those things. I go back to my personal situation. Those things don't make any sense to me. I'm not using the Resi credit. I'm not using the rideshare credit. And I'm not going to book my hotels or vacations through Delta either. So, but at the same time, I'm not going to fly Delta very much either. Yeah, Anthony Venture says he's going through Delta stays right now. There's a lot of hotels, and they use Expedia. So it was, but I would, if Call Me Lonnie is still on here, if you guys can take a look at the live Lonnie did with Anthony Venture, I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was. He talks about a strategy in which he books all his hotels with his United miles. He purchases United domestic flights through the Chase travel portal using UR points, and those are then paid flights. So he's earning United miles, and he just accumulates tons of United miles. You can do the same strategy with Delta and not even get those cards. But if you were to have hundreds of thousands of Sky miles, I don't think it would be a bad thing to, maybe book some hotels or something. Um, that strategy doesn't work for me, but it could for you. Let me make sure I look at these comments. On a side note, Terry Marburger says he has 4 personal and 1 business card from Capital One. You have the most Capital One cards out of anyone, sir. John says the gym is the sanctuary away from all the world bull stuff. Pop in the earbuds and roll. And the gym has always been good for that for a lot of men. The best thing about the gym is if you have headphones on, most gyms, no one will talk to you if that's what you're looking for. As long as the scenery is okay. John Baker says he loves the Delta Stay credits. He's definitely going to use that. And I think, like I said, I think if you were using the Delta products, I think these cars just became a lot better. And here's the thing I didn't mention. Let me go through it. These changes, there might be some little bit different with the business side, but these changes are pretty consistent on the personal and business side. So if you are looking to get into Delta cards and you're worried about your 524 status, right now they all have elevated bonus offers. The reason why I say that is if you're gardening your 524, in my opinion, Amex business cards are not a bad way to go because you're not getting a hard inquiry. They're not hard to get. These bonuses are, I'm not going to say they're fire, but if you want some airline miles, these bonuses aren't bad. Let's look at the Delta Gold business card. 80,000 bonus miles for $6,000 in 6 months. You guys are also going to notice these spending requirements have gone up. We talked about that at the beginning of the year. The credit card annual fees are going up. The spending requirements are going up. Why? Because everything's going up. But 80,000 Sky Miles with a 0 intro annual fee, that's not a bad way to go, man, if you're bonus hunting. The Delta Platinum business card, 100,000 Sky Miles. Got to spend $8,000 in 6 months. And guys, the reason why I think the business cards are better if you are bonus hunting, I really do think Amex separates that personal and business. I think you can play the game a little bit more with the business side and maybe not get put into pop-up jail on the personal side, and maybe either way. The Delta Reserve business card is 110,000 Sky Miles, but you got to spend $12,000 in 6 months. You see where the theme is here, man. If I'm American Express, I'm going to give you a product that offers a lot of benefits in exchange for you to work the card. And if you like that agreement, I think it's a great opportunity to have a great relationship with Amex. If you want 16 cards and you want to switch them out every month and maximize the $95 card and the $250, then Amex is not going to be for you anymore. Bo spends and earns travels is in the house. He hopes you are all well. Yeah, the Bo Spend says at least the Delta rideshare credit isn't as crazy as the Citi executive card. The Citi American Airlines executive card, who was in charge of putting that together, man? Like, it's almost like let's see if we can get something out there that's completely city, which means it's completely don't even say that word anymore. It's completely stupid. Cortland Frown Kron coming in late. What the hell's Amex thinking? Cortland, we just talked about that this might be good for Delta loyalists. And as Keith S says, if you like the Sky Pesos, this might not be too bad. In the Sky Pesos, I call them Sky Pesos because I do think they have a lower value than a lot of currencies, but with the 15% off, and if you are somebody who can be flexible and take advantage of those deals, you can hit with Delta. I remember people always ask me my favorite points and miles redemption ever. When I first got into this, when the stepkids were younger, I took all of us, 6 of us, round trip to Miami, and it was 10,000 sky miles each way. 10,000 sky miles each way for 6 people. I thought I killed it. Now, in retrospect, what we're doing now, that's 60,000. No, it was round trip. I'm sorry, it was round trip. 10,000 sky miles round trip to Miami, Columbus to Miami. And 60,000 sky miles for a 3 or 4 day trip. No big deal, right? That was my favorite ever. I killed it. Everybody was so happy with that. It was when we first started traveling, and I was the hero for a couple days. So Sky Pesos, you can hit with Sky Pesos. Just have to look and be patient. Kiki Adventure says, did someone say they have the most Capital One cards? How many are we talking? Let me go back. I might have. It was more than normal. 4 personal and 1 business. Can you beat that, Kiki? John has a good point. These changes really don't affect those of you that are just sub hunting. If you're working on a sub every 2 months, then the cards don't matter all that much. I will say this, though, John. These spend requirements are different than what they used to be. And to spend $12,000 to get the sub, you've got to put some effort into that. $12,000 for some people might not be that big of a deal, but that's a lot of boxes of toilet paper. That's a lot of, electric bills. That's at $12,000 is not super easy for most of us to spend. It takes some time. Yeah, Bo says the Simply Miles make that lift credit decent. Take some work versus the Chase card. Yep, and I think this is where we're at in the credit card world. I think this is a golden age. I think we're all getting great value, but I think you don't have team cash back and travel anymore. You have team simplified setup and team working the cards. I think you have to choose. And there was a time where I loved working these cards. I loved writing down every single credit and laughing when I got them all. I'm not interested in that anymore. Yeah, and Keith has a point, and his point will always be valid. I'd rather spend that amount of money on an ink card. Keith, you're right, but I will tell you, there's going to be a day where you can't get any more inks. When you have 10 inks or you've gotten 10 ink bonuses in the last 2 years, they're not going to give you any more. And everybody on this list, 123 people, we got 123 people in here, guys. Slap that like button. But everybody in this list at some point is going to get to where they have a tough time getting another bonus. Unless you're surgical with it, you're doing exactly every 2.5 months and you're spacing it out for 5 years. But eventually, like I'm at a point where it's tough for me to get a bonus. I don't even know how many cards I have right now. Maybe 33, 34 active. And Keith's got a good point. The ink cards don't have a $650 annual fee. The ink cards, let's not talk about the ink cards too much because they're kind of like the best deal going around. They're such a good deal. We don't want to ruin it. And the ink cards, coincidentally, are a very large part of my 2024 strategy. At least the ink cash is. He says, "Don't make me cry. I will not make you cry." So that's the Amex Delta news. I personally don't think it's bad news. I think it's good for super Delta loyalists who want to work the cards. I think it's good for guys guarding their 524 who want a bonus hunt. I think it's bad for people who want to casually get a sock drawer card to get some value, get that companion certificate, and not do any work. Even then, guys, let's keep it real. If I pay $650 a year so my wife and so I can get my companion ticket to Hawaii on first class and have access to the Sky Clubs, it's not hard to win that one. Not hard. And if you are a traveler, going to Hawaii every year is not difficult at all. Now, you do have to pay cash for that one ticket, but I think the reserve is the win. I think the reserve is a better card now. It just requires more commitment. I think the platinum is likely a better card. Now, also the platinum now puts you on the upgrade list, where even if you don't have status, you'll have the possibility for upgrades. And a lot of people will say, well, that'll never happen. Well, I had the reserve with no status, and I regularly got upgraded to Comfort Plus on domestic economy flights. So if you value that, I value it because it makes me feel like I'm getting something that, I'm getting an award or a reward. So the platinum is better. I think if you can use that one credit, the gold is better. So I'm positive about it. I'm not getting any of them. Um, they don't apply to me. So, but I think I'm positive with these changes if you can conform to the working the credit card. Yeah, baby fist, Baba fist says the Delta cards are way better in their opinion. For the loyalists that actually travel, you're right, man. What we have here, Cortland says the Capital One Duo is going to get his Delta spend. I mean, I get it. I mean, I can get it not working for you, but the math is the math. The value is still there, and they added credits. They raised the annual fee, and if you had a cutoff where you were comfortable paying every year, it might have went over that. But the cards are requiring you to commit, but they're rewarding you for that. And like John says, great way to get a bunch of Sky Pesos. I am the Shield. We have the Delta Reserve just for the companion cert and the 15% off points bookings. The card is still worth it just for that. We just used the companion cert for visiting SFO, and we easily got over the annual fee. Now, I am the Shield. Now that you can visit the Caribbean, Alaska, and Hawaii, now you're probably going to kill it, man. You're never, ever going to have problem finding a Delta flight to Hawaii. They're all the time. And let's say I'm Columbus to Honolulu in first class. I'm not sure what that costs, but I'm pretty sure I'm getting my $650 back. And everything else is just cake. Matt Clausen says this was a good apology for the way they did the massive changes to the Sky Miles. Someone commented on my community post saying they kind of they kind of they kind of went back on their promise for not changing anything. I think a lot of changes are coming with American Express, and I think they're going to be fine for it. But I think some of us hobbyists are going to be better off with Capital One and Chase. David Williams says we needed an 80,000 Citi Premier, 80,000 K Citi Premier offer. Looks forward to their denial. I got the 80,000 Citi Premier deal last year, and I'm probably going to do a video about that because I think I think it's going away. I think I'm going to simplify things to really only two major ecosystems and to really limit my annual fees. And I think the City Premier might not make the cut this year. Seven Fallen Angels says, so no cashback card hunting. Um, Here's the thing about the Redstone Federal Credit Union. I don't know if you've ever contacted them, but you have to do like a Zoom meeting with them to verify your identity. And Joshua Butler has a couple good credit union videos, and I looked into one of them, and he did a video on a Bound credit union in Kentucky. And listen, they have a 5% cashback card for gas, and it had rotating categories for 5% cashback. But as soon as I got the card, they canceled the rotating category part, and they it, some of these credit unions, it might not be worth it, and this is why I say that. Um, a Bound credit union, I think at one point to get the card, they had to I had to print out something and sign it and mail it to them. That doesn't sound like a big deal, but it's 2024, man. Why am I signing anything? Why am I at the post office for anything? So Redstone, I don't know exactly their process, but I went to join Redstone and they were going to make me sit down and do a Zoom call with them to verify my identity. And I thought this is so stupid. I haven't done it yet. The card's awesome. You know, not bashing the card, but the smaller credit unions, you got to make sure you have a tolerance for dealing with less than what the big banks offer. But as far as cash back goes, you can absolutely destroy the game with credit unions with all the different 5% no annual fee cash back cards. Absolutely. But while I'm thinking about it, I joined a regional bank to get it's an Elon Financial runs their credit card program. So they have a version of the US Bank Cash Plus. Two categories, 5% cash back per quarter, $2,000. So I joined their bank and let me see how this went. I joined their bank and got a credit card and I went to go pay my credit card and I had to log on to the site and I had to enter my account number. Why don't I don't I've never been to this bank. I didn't know my checking account number. So when I call them, they will not give me my checking account number. So just little things like that. It's a neighborhood bank. There used to people going in there. Um, I don't remember what happened, but it took me a few days just to get my checking account number so I could pay this bill. So a little bit of work if you're just used to slapping a button on your phone and everything's fine. All right, let's check these comments here. There's a lot of them. And we have 153 people in here, guys. I thank every single one of you. Like they say, you could be anywhere, but you're right here. And like I said earlier at the beginning of this live, right now I have some serious personal stress going on, and it's going to be like this for like a week or two. So I really thank you for coming here and giving me this distraction, a couple hours away from life and to be with you and talk about something we all really like it. Thank you guys. And slap the like button. Andrew Williams says Delta Reserve is easily worth it for certain people. His home airport is Atlanta, the main Delta hub. Everybody here has been to Atlanta. It's a no-brainer for him to keep the reserve. They comped current card holders with a $100 flight credit. And I think that's good they did that. Kind of ease it in, lube it up, because they're getting $650 out of you. Any airplane card recommendations for living on the West Coast? That's MK. MK, I generally don't recommend airline cards, but I just got the Alaska Airlines business card, and I've never flown Alaskan, and there's a really good chance, even with this card, I will never fly Alaska. But I hear a lot of good things about Alaska on the West Coast. Maybe do some research and see if they work for you. Mr. Dubs waiting for Luke to do some bench press live. Mr. Dubs, I have news for you. I'm going to be 47 this year. And I used to power lift, but I haven't done that type of lifting in a while. So I went in the gym the other day and I have one witness, the only guy that was there. I benched 400 pounds with no spot one time. So almost 47 years old, 400-pound bench. Despite getting old and fat and less pretty, I still have some strength left. So I just had to tell someone because, it's 400 pounds. Not everybody can do that. I'm kind of proud of myself. Cortland says he upgraded his gold to the platinum this summer. And when they took the Sky Club access from the platinum, man, that sucked. After platinum, went to reserve. I need the credit in one lump sum, nickel and dime. Yeah, you're right, man. If they did the credit in one lump sum, it'd be a lot less work. But like I said, they don't want you using that card and then putting it away. Delta found out they made tons of money with these credit cards. Now they want more. John says Citi's getting ready to go through a lot of changes. He said he barely uses his Citi cards. This is the funny thing about Citi cards, man. They are good, but I hear that from a lot of people. Like, I have a couple, but I don't use them. I use the Citi Custom Cash for my gas. And I have the Citi Premier, and I don't know why I don't use the Citi Premier more, but I don't. I should. I like Citi Points. The only knock I have on Citi Points is they don't have Aeroplan as a transfer partner, but they do have choice at 1 to 2. Sups S, I have my Delta Gold renewal coming up this month. Do you think they will give me a retention offer based on the current changes? You know how they closed mouth doesn't get fed? Just ask. I think the card's better now, though, if you're going to use it. If you can't use that $100 or whatever, $100 hotel or vacation credit, then the card's probably not going to be worth it for you. Where we go? Somebody, where did that come from? I got some type of notification. So I'm going to go back to the questions on the. CJ, where's CJ? How did I get that? Oh, never mind. Apologies. Let me look at the comments or the questions in the actual community post real quick. Answer a couple of those. I got some notification on my phone and it confused me. Nick asked, are there any places you want to go domestically? Me and the wife are headed to the Grand Canyon in March. He wants to get back to Washington, D.C. and see Mount Rushmore and Yellowstone. There really anywhere in the United States I want to take my son. I'm taking my son Saturday the 10th. Taking him to the Dallas Mavericks against Oklahoma City Thunder. So that'll be Sunday is his last basketball game in his first season. So he likes basketball, and I'm going to take him to an NBA game and blow his mind. I went to an NBA game like 30 years ago and never been back, but we're going to fly to Dallas, go to the Mavericks game, spend the night, and then come home for the Super Bowl. So Dallas is one. We go to Miami a lot. He has to go to Washington, D.C. because he's in school now and he's learning about all the different monuments. The only time we can go this year is in the middle of October. And I don't know if I want to take him to Washington, D.C. 3 weeks before an election with the way things are now. So we may not do that this year, but we're definitely going to do D.C. really soon. And yeah, there's a lot of places I have to take him domestically, but the credit card connection. If you guys don't know, that's Joe Barreto. Hola, mi gente. He asked, will you give IHG a try, or is Hilton the go-to in 24-25? I'll announce it to you guys now. I am not interested in working these Hilton cards. this year. So we talked about, are they worth it? I think they're absolutely worth it. I think they're great cards if you're willing to work them. So I have a few Hilton stays reserved for this year. And after I'm done with those, I think this summer when my annual fee hits, I'm not going to continue with the exclusive Hilton loyalty on the Aspire cards anymore. I'm going to get rid of them. I'll still have some smaller annual fee hotel cards, but I really do think I'm going to be somewhat of a hotel free agent, and I'm going to be using Hyatt as my primary hotel. And I know it pains me to say it because I talk so much smack about Hyatt, but I think it is for the simplicity and for the fact that they have so many, what do you call them, pull-out couches. So it makes it so it's almost a suite, and it gives us more room for trips with Carlos. So, Barreto, we're not going to be Hilton loyalists after this year. I am going to stay at IHGs. I have 2 or 3 IHGs already reserved for this year, but we're going to be floating around a little bit. We're going to spend those choice points. We're going to do the IHGs, and we're going to stay at a lot of Hyatts. So, and I'm not totally against the Hilton program. I still have hundreds of thousands of Hilton points that are going to have to get spent. So for the after this summer, when I start canceling some cards, I'm going to get into a big, huge strategy change. And I think it's going to be the focus is going to be Capital One and Chase and just earning transferable currencies. So I'll probably do a video just about that, but I'm really excited about that. Jesus, I like to call him Jesus. That's a cool name. Says he has 4 Citi cards and he uses all of them. And I like to hear that because I really do think Citi has great cards. And we can probably name the 4 you have, and those 4 together, let me guess, we're talking about the double cash, the Premier, Citi Custom Cash, and whatever the one that pluses it up, the Rewards Plus or something. That's an amazing setup. Uh-oh, we got mostly free travel. If you guys haven't checked out her Instagram, absolutely do it. All the good news. She thinks the Delta Biz Gold is a no-brainer if you're not chasing status and you value the 15% award discount, free check bag, the good boarding, and a $150 annual fee and the hotel credit. I think she's right. If you travel, if you fly Delta at all, it makes sense. Not to mention the elevated bonus and the $0 annual fee for the first year. Yeah, I agree. I think it's great. I've had it, and don't tell anyone this, but I'm pretty sure you can churn American Express co-branded business cards. What I mean by that is I'm pretty sure that if you've had the business Delta Gold and you canceled it a couple years ago, you might be able to get the bonus again if you apply for it. By the way, I do have links in the description that have the new bonuses on them. So if you want to check out my Cardonomics link for any more information about these Delta cards, don't hesitate. I would greatly appreciate it. What would be a good secondary ecosystem to chase? It's MK asking. Well, I would say, here's what I think. I think your secondary system has to be cheap. That's just me talking as somebody who has had all 4 ecosystems and can't stop applying for these giant annual fee cards. But I think if you're going to have a primary and a secondary, I think one of them has to be cheap or not. For me, my 2 ecosystems are probably going to be Chase and Capital One. For Capital One, I want access to Turkish, and I want access to the Venture X just because I think it's an easy car to get value from. And it has primary rental car insurance, all these different things. And I think with running the Capital One Duo, I can run a very cheap Chase setup and really kill it. For my Chase setup, the travel card will be the Chase Inc. Preferred, and then all the complimentary cards with no annual fee. So I think you can do it really cheap, and I think you can get tons and tons of value. John says he has 3 Citi cards and he doesn't use them other than adding it to his Amazon bank every couple months. I mean, oh, Bobby Yakuza just hit us with a 10 spot. Super chat going towards my $10,000 spend for the Amex Business Gold. I feel like Monty Brewster. I get Brewster's Millions, right? Going to dump my Delta Biz Gold in April. The $150 fee is not worth it for how he travels. Well, Bobby Yakuza, I appreciate the 10 spot. Thank you, sir. And I agree, man. Business cards are really easy to cancel when they stop making sense. Bo Spence wants to know if I'm hitting that DFW Capital One Lounge. Absolutely. I had to say it's my favorite domestic lounge. The food is unreal, in my opinion. I like it because I can take Carlos there and I can just sit down and not worry. He can reach everything. He can go get all the food he wants. They have great food for kids, like the package stuff. Yeah, we're going to the DFW Capital One Lounge, and it's right next to the Centurion Lounge. I'll skip the Centurion Lounge because they want me to pay $50 or $30 for a bowl of cereal for Carlos. No, thank you. And pro tip, Capital One does not have an age restriction on authorized user cards. Carlos has his own Venture X card, which I think is really cool. Samir is having a hard time finding good points redemptions on IHG. Hyatt has more to offer when you have those points in the bank. Okay. I don't think it's hard to find good points redemptions for IHG. I think, and what I've seen with IHG is their sweet spots are generally on the economical side. I don't think you can go wrong with an Holiday Inn Express for a budget stay. I think you're going to get great value for that. I also think if you can get that 4th night free, if you have any of the IHG cards, you're going to get 0.8 to 1 cents per point on a lot of 4-night redemptions. And you can buy them for half a penny. So I think there's a lot of value there. MK staying at the Intercontinental in May. 4th night free. That's pretty cool. I actually bought the ambassador status and scheduled it an intercontinental stay and then canceled it. So I don't know if I'm going to get any benefit at all from my ambassador status this year. I'm going to have to book something, I guess. Bo is going to hit up the Washington Dulles Capital One Lounge in a few weeks. Listen, the Washington Dulles Capital One Lounge made me keep my Capital One cards. I came back from Prague and it was an evening flight and I missed my connection from Washington Dulles home. And it was one of those deals where I like to be home with my family. So I was really ready to get back. Missed my flight. I had like 4 or 5 hours for the next flight. And I could have been really, really mad. But I get in that Capital One Lounge at Washington Dulles, and the people that worked there were the coolest people in any airport. Had a couple fruity drinks, really good food, set my laptop up, did some work. Made me want to keep all my Capital One cards. Uh-oh, Dugras here. Dugras reports. My man. Good evening, sir. Wong Wei Travels is in the house, hitting that Choice Hotels timeshare presentation this weekend. 50,000 points and $150 gift card. Good job, man. I like that. Samir wants to know where we're going to Japan. I don't know yet, man. I have that dad life. So what's really killing me is trick or treat. I can't miss trick or treat. And that's kind of the space I would have for Japan. So we're going to have to find out. I'm going to do some more research, see what the temperature is like in the wintertime, see if it's worth going then. Yeah, Dugras says if you want to buy IHG points for half a cent, the current deal is today and tomorrow. But the good news is you probably only have to wait a couple months for that deal to come back around. And I always like I freely admit I buy points. I buy the maximum number of Hilton points for half a penny, and I buy the maximum number of IHG points for half a penny every year. I am the Shield says, what made you decide to buy Ambassador? He's on the fence. Well, I was going to Panama and I wanted to stay at the Intercontinental. And for $200, you buy the Ambassador status and then you get a free night. So you could pretty much, cancel that out. I was going to pay cash. So I bought the Ambassador status and then didn't stay at the Intercontinental. So we'll see. But I think I can get Intercontinental stay sometime this year. Yeah, Bo spends. Yeah, Capital One does not have age restrictions for authorized user cards. So to put it like in a sense, my 7-year-old has a longer credit history than his lifetime, and he has access to $30,000 in credit. So when he's 18, he should have a pretty bomb credit score. David Ruiz loves the Capital One Lounge. Super excited to check out the Sapphire Lounge at LA or LaGuardia. Yeah, you're right. I can access it once with the Priority Pass with one of those cards, but I'm really tempted to get the Sapphire Reserve just to have access to Chase lounges. Oh yeah, so someone said it was the best credit card lounge in the U.S. That's That's a bold statement. David Ruiz will be at IAD and then Denver next month, so he can report back all the Capital One lounges. I want to hear about it. I don't think I've ever been to the Denver airport, but yeah, Keith S is saying the snow. I'm not going to the mountains of Japan. I'm just going to Tokyo and maybe ride a bullet train. I don't ski, so yeah. Keith S says the CSR will get you Priority Pass and the Priority Pass restaurants, and that could be a big deal. I when I did a video on the CSR not too long ago, I looked at where the restaurants were. I think there are 39 of them or 37, and they are in airports we connect in or visit. So I have until April. In April, that Chase Sapphire Preferred is changing, and it's either going to go to a super budget setup where I change the Sapphire Preferred to a Freedom Flex, and I just keep the Chase Ink Preferred as the travel card. So it'll be a $95 Chase setup, or that Preferred is going to change to a Reserve, and I have essentially and I'll get rid of the Ink Preferred, and I have a $625 Chase setup. So I haven't decided yet, but I do have a lot of plans for Chase points, and I'll tell you my Chase strategy right now is that one of the travel cards that has 3 times on dining and travel, and Visa gift cards from Staples, 5 times on everything. Now, obviously, I won't be using that for everything, but I'll pay my bills, pay my insurance, I'll pay my property tax, I'll pay all kinds of stuff with, Visa and MasterCard debit cards, and earn 5. I don't want to max out at least one ink cash at 25,000 with that. So that's 125,000 UR points on a no annual fee card. Brother Jay, hey Luke, just tapped in and meet and greets planned. I live in Vegas. Brother Jay, I want to say, and I'm not sure who exactly is organizing this, but it might be Chad's Money Minutes. But the next meet and greet is going to be, at least the one for a bunch of us creators, is New Orleans Labor Day weekend. And I think what I'm going to do is if I take any solo trips, I'm going to kind of put it out there to see if anybody wants to meet up. And I know in July, there's going to be a bunch of us in Miami or Fort Lauderdale. So I'll put some of that stuff out, and maybe we'll do some mini meetups because, I mean, they're always fun. I know in July, I think Chad is going to show up down in Fort Lauderdale, and maybe CJ. And if you know Point Blank's travel or Point Blank Travel, Rod is going to has mentioned he may be able to come show up. So in July, you might see a bunch of old guys smoking cigars in Florida. See you later, Bo. Sean B is looking forward to his first Centurion visit at Charlotte. Connecting flight. Man, my Charlotte connection is always like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Venture X credit and points paying for the flight and stay in Tampa on the Riverwalk. Hey, we stayed at the Hyatt in Tampa. We went to watch Joe Burrow beat up on Tom Brady and stayed really close to the Riverwalk. They have a really nice looking Riverwalk. I hope you have fun. That's definitely a good location. Tampa is just a cool place. Definitely cool for a football game too. Let me get back to this community post. I don't. There's not very many of them. Okay. KRS 1905. Can you cut up your gold card during the live, like a reverse unboxing? I have not actually canceled that gold card yet. I'm sorry for shaking that. So I'm pretty sure it's going because of the way Amex is going. I'm a lot less interested in earning MR points and paying those high annual fees, but I'm definitely not going to cut it up on screen. I still think it's an amazing card for so many people. It's an amazing card for me too, but I just want less work. One more question, I think. NB32, any tips on getting approved for the American Airlines personal Citi Platinum card? That's it. I think with Citi, they're inquiry sensitive. So I think if you can wait 90 days or 180 days between applications, I think you're good. I don't think it's tough to get approved for that card, but Citi is wonky and kind of weird. B Stoker just hit us with a 5 spot. Thank you, sir. Thank you, B Stoker. He says we have helped him get into the travel game. Well, B Stoker, I have news for you. And this is what is called a universal truth. People will say that you travel for a certain period of time until you get it out of you, but it never gets out of you. You will never stop. Once you're in this game, you will always be looking forward to that next trip. So have fun. The Rascal said, do I have a lot of MR points right now? I don't have a lot. I never keep a lot. I have about 100,000, which is, I don't normally keep more than a couple 100,000 before I, blast out the redemptions. Kind of how I do my redemptions is every year I really schedule stuff for the next 8 months. And during that 8 months, I fill in the next 4 months. So really I have everything scheduled until uh, I don't know, September, something like that. And now I'm just kind of casually looking for an October trip. So right now is the building phase, but I never keep a bunch on hand because I don't I earn and burn. I do have some programs where I haven't been able to redeem them, so they've been sitting around for a year or 6 months maybe. But no, I don't have a bunch of MR points. And because the biggest reason why, compared to some of the other programs, is American Express took away my referral links. I don't make I have a referral link for cards in general, and I make some money off that. But as far as the referral links for the gold and the platinum, I haven't had any of those links for years, and that was a pretty good source of MR points. 100,000 MR points is kind of a lot. It's not when you run a YouTube channel and you push. I've had a couple of years where I pushed $100,000 through American Express cards in a year, so it's not that much. He says it sucks they took away your referral links. What's that all about? American Express will just take away referral links, and even when you contact them, they'll say, "Well, they could be back. They may not. We reserve the right to give you referral links." Um, and I haven't had the first it was the gold, I think, and then it was the platinum. And I think it's just like they control how many new customers they acquire, and they kind of just adjust that um, with referral links from existing customers. I don't think it's just something for me personally because it wouldn't be that I'm getting a lot of referrals because that's what the program's for, right? At one time, I was acquiring them a lot of customers. So I don't think they didn't like that. I just think they're in a phase where they're not acquiring as many customers. So they don't need to reward someone like me for helping them. Whoops. All right, guys. This is the part where it's 8:20. I usually go to bed at 9 o'clock. So for the next 10, 15 minutes, you can rapid fire me questions. I'll answer them all. But I think we're going to cut this off in about 10 minutes. And I think that'll give us a really good hour and a half with a lot of engagement and a lot of interaction, which is something I really needed today. I am the shield. Oh, Keith just hit us with a 5 spot. Thank you, sir. He's halfway through his gardening. Last personal card was May of 23. He'll be under 524 in August, 15 months, August 2024. Halfway through there. Be strong, man. Yes. Gardening sucks. If you need a card, get a business card. I am the shield says one of the primary reasons for having the cards I have, other than the free travel, is I don't want to be there. I don't want there to be a lounge I can't get in. I'm with you, man. That's what I said. For 2 or 3 years, I want access to all of them. And I have to admit, there's one thing that has made that less important. I'm at the point now where I'm not flying international unless it's business or first class. So I already have lounge access. So I just need that edge when it comes to connections on domestic economy. And I'm getting to the point where, since I don't have airline loyalty, I'm getting more direct flights and less connections. So I'm valuing that extra lounge access a little less. That doesn't mean I'm not like you. I want access to all of them. And I think when I get, um, I think when I have less lounge access for a period of time, I think I'm going to miss it and I'm going to go back. Samir says he just crushed 90,000 through a Biz Inc. card. Good job, Samir. You are killing it. We all talked about the ink cards earlier. The ink cards are hitters for sure. Kim Scott said her referrals are gone. It sucks because people, it annoys people. And I think a lot of people don't like the fact that the referral program exists because it has the potential to skew how people talk about the cards. Nice way of saying, if there's a referral link, somebody's going to talk the card up and talk you into getting it. But it's part of the program, and it was a great part of the American Express program when you could get 55,000 MR points per year for each card. I mean, it was also a factor in keeping a card. There were years where I kept a card because for some reason people were using my referral link. I wanted to cancel the Platinum Schwab, and people just kept using my referral link, and it paid the annual fee. So, yeah, it sucks they took it away. Mr. Nick says, "What's up, Luke? Spending this Thursday night watching you and grilling some steaks and shrimp. I like your style, Mr. Nick. We had steaks last night, and well, for lunch today too. Really good. You need a cigar, Mr. Nick. I don't know if you can do that where you live, or if it's warm enough to step out on the patio, but that's what you need." I say that and I smoke one cigar every 5 years. Dugraws reports favorite IHG redemption so far. So far. I haven't had any big time IHG redemptions. We talked earlier that I do have a redemption at the Seafire Resort in Grand Cayman in April. That's a sweet spot. That's an amazing value. But I have to say that my IHG so far has been those. Here's a for instance. We went to a rock concert in Southern Ohio. In Southern Ohio, and we just needed a place to stay for the night. We stayed at a Holiday Inn Express. Really affordable, really clean, walking distance to the venue. To me, IHG is all about convenience. There's so many of them. The other one was um, sent my wife to Orlando with Carlos to go to Universal, and the kind of Universal Studios resort Holiday Inn thing, really affordable. The workers there, I don't care, but the workers at IHG seem to be, they're like Chick-fil-A workers. They're super polite, super nice. We always like them. But sorry, Dugross, no big time ones just yet. But I do have another one planned for May. I have the Kimpton in Amsterdam, and that is in a certain location that should make it just a badass redemption. So I'll talk about that hopefully in May. Have I used any of the Choice Hotel points yet? I have not. I have a couple places picked out. There's a couple properties I want to use them on, and there's a couple of locations where I think it makes sense. If I'm going to somewhere in Madison Square Garden, there's a Cambria down the street for an affordable price, so I'll stay there. I think at some point when I go to New Orleans, I'm going to stay at the Cambria there. Looks really cool. So I Japan and Tokyo, I might use them. So I have an embarrassment of riches right now, and Choice has just not gotten around to getting the redemption call yet. I think it's because you have to wait 100 days before your trip to use them, so it makes it a little tougher. Samira says his best IHG redemption was Intercontinental in Vegas for $27,000 a night, worth $1,000 a night. Is that what it was? If you that's a big league redemption, Samir. Mr. Nick says Miami's been cold this week. Damn it. Mr. Nick in Miami, you poor guy. Can't resist a nice bourbon no matter what the temperature. Yeah, you lucky guy. I'm trying to get my wife and Carlos to move to South Florida in 5 years. 5 years? Something like that. Samir, that's a big time redemption, man. I like that. Which Intercontinental in Vegas was it? Was it like the Venetian or something? I don't know. I'm not familiar with which property that is, but that's an awesome redemption. Good job. You are playing the game correctly. Palazzo, that's what I meant. Okay. Good job, man. I like your style. All right, guys. I am going to wrap this up. If we got one more question, I'll take it. If not, 128 people here. I'm overwhelmed with how many people want to have conversations on a Thursday night, and I appreciate every single one of you guys. And I want to do these every 2 weeks. So I would say, unless it's a holiday or a special occasion, you'll probably see me back here in 2 weeks. And when I put the community post up, if you have anything you want to discuss or talk about, we'll talk about it. Guys, if you have any, what am I? Yeah, okay. Do you know if Hilton cards stop counting towards diamond status? I'm not sure what that means. Do you know if Hilton cards stopped counting towards diamond? I'm not sure what that means, but the Aspire card gives you diamond status. He says, what's my next card? My next card will be a random business card because I'm gardening for a long time. It'll be like some extra card. Chambe. Hello, everyone here. Uncle Luke, if I cancel my Advantage credit card, should I lose my miles? No. Your American Airline miles are attached to your American Airline loyalty account, not to your credit card. Oh, Baba Fist, base miles. I don't know that for certain because I don't ever track it, so I'm not sure. I'll have to get back with you on that. The Joker speaks. Can we expect more coupons from Amex? Of course. All their cards will be coupon based. Their formula of high annual fees and credits to offset that if you want to work is their formula, and it works for them. Record-setting profits last year, I think. Yeah, Baba Fist. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at that. Guys, like I said earlier, I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and get off here. 2 weeks, we'll see you again. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff. If you want information about the cards we talked about tonight, I got referral links in the description below. Blah, blah, blah. Appreciate every single one of you guys. We'll see you soon.